Warren presents To the Zoo. Season 2, Episode 13. At school, Warren and other kids were in class today, making arts about their favorite animals. Warren had crassy thoughts about other kids' favorite species, including pigs, cows, and deers. Warren's favorite animals were alligators, bears, crocodiles, and horses. During their arts and crafts, their teacher handed them all a green signature slip that gives them a chance to go to the zoo field trip, which will be tomorrow on Friday. Warren got his slip signed by his mom when he got home. Then next day, a lot of kids were waiting at the school's parking lot to ride a bus to the zoo. As they start heading there, Warren spotted a dead crow, but he did see a few lurking animals in the premise. When everyone arrived, Warren was put in his classmates' group so the chaperones would know what each group of kids should belong to. Before they got to the zoo, they had a long way to get through. There were tourists guiding every kid to stay careful when traveling in forests. During the walk, Warren pretends to get lost, and slowly goes unnoticed by the other crew members. At one point, he saw a bear, and went up to pet it. Luckily, he was met with a hug than being killed. Heart-warmed by this, Warren grabs a little rabbit, and gives it to the grizzly bear to eat and chew. As this goes on, Warren watches in amazement. Warren then finds a crocodile coming near, and he starts giving directions to the crocodile to where all the little animals were at. Warren goes back to quickly find where his group is, but he was lost. He started to just wander around until he finds a baboon climbing a tree. This inspires him to do the same, and goes to the highest tree he could find, and climbs it until he finally spots his group. Warren eventually reunites with his group without any trouble. When everyone finally got to the zoo, the crew members let all the kids pet the animals, telling them to be careful. There was a horse that Warren wanted to purr, but when a kid got in his way, that was the exact moment the horse started shitting, and the kids shrieked. At that moment, Warren was glad not to get near the horse. Warren lost his appetite after that, and when lunch came around, he was disgusted by how eager all the other children were eating the junk food in the animal bar, and he decided to feed a giraffe. However, he is suddenly lifted by the giraffe and is brought into the giraffe section. Warren rides on the giraffe, but he is quickly let out by two security guards before he could get hurt. Moving on, Warren, his classmates, and the adult crew members went to see pigs. All the kids including Warren start petting the pigs, and minutes later, most of the kids were not in Warren's sight anymore. To Warren's surprise, someone touches him from the back and gave him some sandwiches and salad, along with some milk. As Warren drank the milk, he realized it was milk from a cow, upon seeing children squeezing milk from the cow's breasts. This prompts Warren to spit the milk out from his mouth, and he receives some water to calm him down. Warren started commenting on the kids, saying they were drinking a cow's waste, but this didn't bother the kids. A crew member asked Warren if he wants to squeeze some milk from the cows, and Warren hesitantly says yes. There, he goes to lean under the cow, and starts squeezing milk. Warren started getting obsessive, because of how soft and bubbly the cow's teats were. He starts squirting milk on his face until he starts hallucinating. Luckily, he came back to his senses, and went back to continue to eat his food. Warren ate his sandwich as he watched an alligator float by, and witnessed it killing many other little animals one by one, such as bunnies, frogs, and nearby birds. Warren was amazed by what he saw, and grabbed a bamboo for a little bunny to hang on, and fed it to the alligator that was coming near. Warren hid and fed some bamboo to a panda, and even kissed it. Warren went back to find the other kids watching grizzly bears. Warren adored the bears and wanted to touch them, but he, along with the other kids, were separated from the bears with the help of strong glass, so they wouldn't get injured. A few moments later, Warren and some kids were asked questions about animal life, and when they got most of them correct, they were offered a horse ride, to Warren's excitement. Warren and other children rode their horses through a pathway. Warren was extremely happy about what horse he got to ride, because it has red and orange hair, just like him, and he even thought it might be a female horse. During the horse ride, Warren giggled a bit and slapped his horse's ass, prompting his horse to kick another horse in the face, causing a kid to knock down on the ground. When things settled, Warren started flirting with his horse as he and other kids watched and absorbed wildlife through sightseeing many animals living. Warren was not afraid to go up to interact with a bear that he and the kids saw, and he started feeding them food, such as grass. Intentionally, Warren eats the same grass with the bear, but he is told to be careful. However, Warren would then grab a bunny, and tried to feed it to the bear, making the kids panic. One of the crew members acted quickly, and snatched the bunny away from Warren before it could get eaten. At this point, Warren was the only one who most of the crew members kept an eye on. Everyone then started heading to the creek. Before they go there, they were given boots, rubber boots. Zookeepers informed everybody that alligators and crocodiles could be present there, which is enough to make Warren blurt out his excitement. Long down the creek, there were reptiles lurking around the puddles and tree branches. All the kids had fun playing on the water, while Warren and a few kids went to look at small horses that were in a protected zone. Warren sniffs the horses, and started licking them, but the crew members told him not to do it or he might get infections. Warren and a couple of kids fed some food to the ducks, and also fed some food to the birds that were present. Warren liked doing this, feeding animals rather than eating food for himself. After a while, Warren asked if he could see any bigger animals. There were elephants in the zoo, but he had to hurry, because some kids including him were now heading to the aquarium. Warren actually did find an elephant, which picked him right up, and some crew members started taking pictures. Warren put his hand inside the elephant's nose, and that is when the elephant made its massive sound, causing Warren's ears to bleed and make him get off. When he got to the aquarium, he was amazed by all the aquatic animals that live in the water. He and other kids had a fun time messing around with the animals and playing games with them. At some point, Warren spotted some containers that contained snakes, and so he picks one of them up and scares another kid with it. He is later brought out from the aquarium, and he later finds himself going off with another kid, whom is his partner. He and the kid, Malice, start going around checking out all other animals. Malice asks Warren if he wanted some food, like popcorn, and he says yes. As they are eating their popcorn, they were watching llamas interacting with one another, and their necks were long enough to reach the ground. Unfortunately for Warren, one of the llamas sneaked up on him and started eating his food. Angered by this, Warren gets himself lifted by the llama and starts wrestling with it. However, Malice thought Warren needed help, and told some zookeepers that Warren needed help from being hurt. When things settled down for Warren, he was upset that Malice did not want to share his popcorn with him. Malice did not want to share his food, because of how dirty Warren's hands were from the fight with the llama, but Warren did not care. So, when he and Malice went to a creek, Warren finds out that they are now on a hill, giving him an evil plan. Malice did not know this, so when Warren asks Malice to play peekaboo, Malice agrees and says yes. Once his eyes were covered, Warren pushed him down from the hill, and secretly sneaks himself back to the aquarium as if nothing has happened. Long story short, Warren tricked a kid into telling them that they are supposed to be with Malice. Since Warren and Malice were from different groups, no adults suspected that Warren was responsible for Malice's injuries. As it was time to leave and go home, Warren and many other kids saw some ambulance trucks nearby. As the red and blue lights flashed on the school buses, Warren was mostly met with red flashes. The end.